Team Fortress 2 is Valve's 2007 war-themed hat simulator that somehow survived all the way to 2019 and is still going strong. TF2 has survived this long for a number of reasons, but was, or more correctly, is it great? Well, that's a hard question. Starting as usual with graphics, Team Fortress 2 is graphically pretty brilliant, because of its stylized artwork, which is something next to nobody else has actually managed to replicate. Well, with the exception being The Incredibles, which is made by Pixar. You heard me right, the only people who can match Team Fortress's art style is Pixar. The other great thing about Team Fortress 2's styling is that it's timeless. Team Fortress 2 will never look bad compared to other games, which is certainly helping in its longevity. This artistic style has also translated brilliantly into the Team Fortress comics, which are rarely released nowadays but are very well made and tell some pretty hilarious stories about the group of maniacal mercenaries Team Fortress is centered around, including both the Team Fortress 1 and 2 groups of mercenaries. Story-wise, Team Fortress's story manages to matter less to the gameplay than boycotting an EA game matters to their bottom line, though spoiler alert, I'm about to spoil some elements of the Team Fortress storyline. The story starts off with a wealthy businessman known as Zephaniah Mann, who was conned into buying land in the United States of America by his two quote-unquote idiot sons. That land was a bunch of gravel land, which based on the timing would have actually been quite valuable and very profitable due to the increasing level of infrastructure in the entire Western world. When Zephaniah Mann died, he left them both equal halves of this land, while he left his company to the Hale family and his estate to his assistant. This, as intended, causes a lifelong feud between the two sons, leading them to each hire groups of mercenaries to take the other's land. This is when the games happen, and, well, somehow they hired the exact same damn mercenaries. As far as the games go, this is pretty much all the story that actually matters, the rest of it is really just fluff. Now, something interesting about Team Fortress 2 is that it's fostered its own internal economy. Something that only CSGO, another Valve game, has also managed to do. This economy is based on virtual hats, especially ones with special particle effects called Unusuals. These can be worth upwards of 5,000 United States dollars. You heard me right, $5,000 for some pixels in a video game. And now, with all the fluff out of the way, it's finally time to talk about the most awesome thing TF2 has to offer. Its weapons. Team Fortress 2 has some of the best weapons in all of gaming, and yes, I'm about to use this section to detail some of my favourite items from TF2's impressively large arsenal. If you have a problem with that, feel free to skip ahead. Stock weapons are fairly simple, but I do have a favourite, namely the Scattergun, a shotgun that reloads by divine intervention as the scout cocks the lever action, although otherwise it's a fairly normal shotgun. The nonsensical reload and general reliability of this weapon puts it by far on top for me. Leaping back out of the stock weapon bin, we've got a wide variety of firearms, launchers and assorted items to hit people with. The best of those items being a solid iron gilded skillet, also known as the golden frying pan. That's correct, you can beat people to death with a golden frying pan, that also happens to be worth over 2,000 United States dollars. You can also get several other ridiculous things to hit people with, such as a crossing guard or a sign that you can put literally any message on, such as my preference of signposter. Another weapon! Sure, TF2 doesn't have gun melee, so why not plaster my gun onto my sign that I can hit people with? Well, some people would much rather put something offensive on their signs, I'm not really like that. I'd much rather put something along the lines of my favourite medigun. That being the Quick Fix. Ever need a medic to fly? No? Well, you should still want a medic to fly because it's awesome. Soldiers can rocket jump, demos can sticky jump, and with a Quick Fix, a medic can do both. Well, so long as they've got a soldier or demo ready to blast them to the moon and back. Because unlike the soldier and demo, rocket jump knockback hits the medic in maximum overdrive, and you can still crouch jump to make it launch you past the moon and to the skybox. However, once you've gone and touched the skybox on your way back down, you need a weapon to ensure you can dish out enough damage to blow your enemies back to spawn. And for that, we've got the Airstrike. The Airstrike is a rocket launcher that when you're airborne becomes a rocket machine gun. firing off up to 8 rockets depending on how many kills you've already got under your belt. But once you've drained your launcher of your salvo of rockets, you need something to switch to for getting the hell out of here. And for that, we've got the escape plan. A pickaxe that makes you run like a knockoff Sonic the Hedgehog, the escape plan is a very fun weapon to use, and helps you get away in a pinch. But it can also make a pretty great last-ditch bitch slapper that crits almost as well as our next weapon. The Critter Saw! Also known as the Uber Saw, it's a medic melee weapon that gives you 25% Uber charge and usually a kill on hit, if the enemy's at or below 195 health points. That is because this thing scores more critical hits than you'll actually score hits on your enemies. Speaking of critical hits, the last weapon I'd like to talk about crits very reliably. This weapon is the Frontier Justice. Are you an engineer? Does your sentry get kills? If you answered yes to both of these questions, this weapon will crit for you, because for every kill your sentry gets, you get 2 free crits with this shotgun, and for every assist you get an extra one just to sweeten the deal. Since we've talked about weapons, we should talk about gameplay, and it's awesome. Team Fortress 2 runs on the legendary Source engine, an engine used in many very well received titles such as Half-Life 2, Portal, Team Fortress 2 and Titanfall 2, all of which released to critical acclaim. The Source engine has an absolutely brilliant physics engine, known for the legendary rocket jump born straight out of the original Quake games. And other than the legendary rocket jump, the Source engine's physics lead to many of the game's other great quirks, such as trimping and damage surfing, among other mechanics. Besides the physics engine and weapons being great, the soundtrack and characters are awesome. Finally getting to take a look at the characters, they're brilliant. You get 9 completely different mercenaries with differing personalities and specializations, with at least one of them being a credit to the institution of shooting people from far away. The mercs are hilarious, and their personalities are awesome. Every single mercenary has a slew of funny and awesome lines, ranging from completely insane to rather humorous. This, atop the voice acting being top notch, makes the characters rather believable. Besides the main game modes such as payload and control points, there's a secondary mode called Man vs Machine, where you fight wave after wave of robots as they try to drop a bomb into a hatch at your spawn's end of the map. Among this mess of robots and rubble, you also get a bunch of fun and unique upgrades, such as the Medic's projectile shield or the Heavy's knockback rage. These upgrades cost money, which is dropped by robots and tends to be collected by the Scout. This is due to the Scout's money magnet and ability to heal from grabbing money. The other classes generally have pretty good uses as well, such as the Pyro throwing his fart canister, otherwise called the Gas Passer, that can make an explosion when lit on fire, which happens at even the slightest drop of a feather anywhere within vicinity of the canister. The gameplay, no matter whether in MVM or regular game modes, always revolves around one thing though: Uber Charge! Uber Charge is a mechanic where the medic's medigun can charge up over a period of up to about 40 seconds of regular healing, before putting a special effect onto the healing target. These effects range from lightning speed healing all the way to outright invincibility. Besides the Valve-made content, there are also community game modes, including a weapon randomizer, a boss fight mode called vs Saxton Hale, and a mode that is literally just an amplification of TF2's already ridiculous weapons, among many, many others. These custom game modes provide hours of extra content for anyone looking to have fun with this already fun game. Taking a stop to quickly look at what makes the characters awesome, well, put simply, they are stereotypes done right. Every single character is a stereotype, such as the medic being a mad German doctor, or the soldier being an insane patriot. These stereotypes work because they aren't the entire personality of the character. Demoman isn't solely defined by being a black Scottish cyclops and an alcoholic. He's also got other traits like loving his mother and being a workaholic. This is what makes the characters well made. Though, we have to take a stop and return to gameplay land to talk about the glitches. Team Fortress 2 has had quite a few glitches in its time, although almost none of them have actually been game-breaking. These glitches can range from endless health pools to invisible enemies, which thankfully only happens if you tab out and only on occasion. This game has had and will always have glitches, but that's a-okay in my book, because it makes the game more fun in my opinion. All in all, because Team Fortress 2 is a free game and a very fun one at that, I would have to recommend it. It's not pay to win thanks to the weapon drops and the fact that the stock weapons are usually the most versatile. I can't stress enough how good of a job Valve has done at making the game fair for someone who only has the basic weapons plus or minus one randomly dropped weapon. It's awesome. So please, even if you've got the same attention span as an autistic kid on crack, go try TF2. It's wacky, it's fun, and it's genuinely an enjoyable experience, and well worth playing in my opinion. And that's my opinion, and if you'd like to dispute it, do it in the comments section down below. I have been your host, Vert343, signing off. Peace out, gentlemen.